My mom created a fun way for us to learn the most important rules of life. Yah's command.
With Yah's Big Ten Commands, we get to see His will's best for us.
Keep Yah first.
No graven images.
Don't take Yah's name in vain.
Remember Shabbat and keep it holy.
Honor your parents.
Do not kill.
Mr. and Mrs., don't cheat.
Don't steal.
Don't tell lies.
Don't covet.
This changes everything. Get your set of Yah's Big Ten Commands at Big Ten Designs today.
Pastures green, take me high to the heavenlies. Why don't I just walk away? Everyone needs a little space. Time is moving so fast into the future. So fast. It's hard to bear. It's all consuming. Above all the world, the wind and seas, you reach for me and lead me to the hiding place. Come away and rest. Meditate, reset. Come away and rest. Meditate, reset. Come away and rest. Meditate, reset. Come away and rest. Most High is my relief. Showing your strength is perfect even when I'm weak. Your word sustains me. I can suffer long. Nothing can change me or take away my love of Yah. Into the future, needing answers so bad. It's hard to bear.
Like anybody, I would like to live a long life. Longevity has its place. But I'm not concerned about that now. I just want to do God's will. And He's allowed me to go up to the mountain. And I've looked over and I've seen the promised land.
Identity. We are bombarded by images of who we think we are every day of our lives. But some people don't think. They know. How about you? I didn't know my true identity, culture, heritage, or roots. As a Christian, I was told the only thing that mattered was my identity was found in Christ. But what about the Asian, Arab, Coptic, or European believer? Do they know their identity? Does it matter to them? How about you? This is who they tell us we are. This is what we know. But is it the truth? Take a journey with me as I share my story of faith and identity and discover why both life in the Savior and identity matters. Why our past, present, and future hinges on the knowledge of our true identity. Why all believers in the Messiah must wake up before it's too late. As the world gets darker, it is time for Yah's people to shine their light. Who you really are is one of the most important questions on earth. It's time you knew.
Israelite. Israelite. Israel. Israelite. Israelite. How to know your identity without losing your Savior. Israelite!
I believe in you. Tell me, do you believe it? It's all consuming, but above the world, the wind and seas, you reach for
Grace and peace, family. Grace and peace tonight. Shabbat shalom. For some people would say happy preparation day. Tomorrow, we get to take a chill, rest from all of our weariness, all of the week. The week has been pretty explosive. Wouldn't you say? I'm cutting this down just a little bit. I don't want to cut down. I still want to hear it. I love this song. Hiding Place. That's what's up. I'm so grateful to have all of you come in tonight. But tomorrow we get a chance to rest up because this week it's been a lot. It's been pretty intense, I think, for all of us. And, there's been a lot of things that have to be discussed. It can't just all get discussed in one day. It's so many nuances to everything that has been happening. And like I said yesterday, I don't think that things are going to be slowing down. I think things are going to get progressively more problematic. And so we're, coming to the table and, we're meeting the situation for where it is. We're not running from it. We are discussing it head on. And I think that, it's a really good thing that social media exists in the one sense, because we can have discourse about this, about all of these topics, which we need to have discourse about. Why? Because it's just so much that is happening that is impacting our lives on a day-to-day basis. All of this stuff is heavy. Yes, it is. But we need to confront. We need to confront all of this stuff because, the Most High didn't give us a spirit of fear, one of power, love, and of a sound mind. And right now is a time in the world where people are losing their soundness of mind. They're losing it. They're going ham. They're going postal. They're crashing out. We're going to talk about it tonight. We're going to talk about it. And we're going to ask ourselves why. What is really happening, right? So thank y'all for joining me as we get ready to converse about this issue of mass pew-pewing, mass deletions by pew-pew in America. Okay? But before we do, I want to give a shout out to the family who has come in to join me once again. Thank you for being here. I want to give a shout out to Brother Timothy in the building. Peace and blessings to you. Thank you so much for coming in as always. Daily Bread, Shabbat Shalom. Good to have you in the building. Damian Jones, Shalom, Shalom. Thank you so much for coming in. Queen Adaya, Shabbat Shalom to you as well, sis. Thanks so much for coming in. Emma Horton, Shalom family. Good to see you as well. Brandon Higgins, peace and blessings to you. Dorothy Temple, Shabbat Shalom. Adrienne of Yasharel, shalom to you, shalom. Awakening Soul, salama, salute to you in the chat as well. Got Karima Poet, shalom, shalom to you. Thanks for coming in again. Got Miss Barbara Rigney, peace and blessings to you, sis. Glad to have you here tonight. Team Truth, peace and blessings to you. Oh, there I am. I pinned in the comment section. Grab your copy of Israelite today. Don't wait. Don't hesitate. This is the time in the day for this material. You know, and for those of you who don't understand really why I wrote Israelite and the perspective that I wrote it from, there's a lot of great historical reads out there. I'm currently reading one from a dear sister of mine. But where I kind of deviate from the traditional historical books, which I do definitely include historical accounts, but is I share my journey from Christianity and to the awakening. And it's a very powerful, powerful testimony, replete with biblical, historical, and I don't think there's so much scientific proof in there, even though there is. When it comes to our DNA, I didn't include that in I have done my DNA. I didn't include it in the book, but there's a lot of great info in there. So definitely grab your copy of Israelite if you have not already done so. Get one for yourself as well as one for a friend. All right. So want to give a shout out to my brother, Eric Tinsley. Good to see you, bro. Good to see you. And thank you so much for, you know, just what you said today earlier. Again, I caught the tail end of tail. You know, my life is busy. It just is what it is. So I did catch the tail end, and I really appreciate you, you know, just honoring us in the way that you did. I mean, yeah, this labor, this work that we do is not an easy assignment. We're negotiating with with ourselves and with Yahuwah all the time about this calling. Trust me when I tell you, like, really? But thank you so much for honoring us and also telling people to support us. That means so much, because yes, we do need your support. We absolutely do. Your financial support is very important for us to be able to continue doing what we do. So definitely want to give you a shout out and thank you for saying that. Zari Ali, I want to close out with saying thank you so much for coming out as well tonight. And speaking of those of you who give, I want to give a shout out to Sister Constance. Thank you so much for your gift earlier today. I received it. Thank you so much. Again, thank you for all of those of you who continue to support the work, support the platform, and you can do so. The ticker's down at the bottom. You can do so by way of Cash App at Aaron and Ashonda, $ Aaron Ashonda, or PayPal at ashondalarge11@gmail.com. You can become a monthly member. Honestly, I do not upload a whole lot on my Patreon or my members just because of the work that I'm doing. But if you just want to support, you definitely can, and I appreciate you for doing so. Or you can grab your copy of Israelite. Afterwards, you could also share by super chat, super sticker, and afterwards you could share by super thanks. So now that I got that out of the way, let's go ahead and discuss why we're here tonight. Okay, this is a very important topic that we're going to be discussing. So if you have not already done so, please like and share. All right, this is a very important discussion that we're going to be having tonight concerning the mass pew-pewing that goes on in America. So a lot of people have been talking about, and I have as well, Charlie Kirk's last words. And one of the things that I observed from his last words is that he was deflecting from a question that was being asked of him. He was deflecting for a reason, but I'm going to go ahead and let y'all hear, for those of you who, you know, maybe y'all have just been on vacation, you haven't been paying attention to what's been going on as of late, but I want to give you a chance to hear.
Mass shooters there have been in America over the last 10 years.
Counting or not counting gang violence?
Do you know how many mass shooters there have been in America over the last 10 years?
All right. So there you saw it. He was asked, the question was asked of him, do you know how many mass deletions there have been in America over the last 10 years? Okay, in terms of pew-pewing. Okay, and he redirected his comment. He didn't want to focus in specifically on mass pew-pewing, and he didn't want to for a very important reason. Well, we understand, without even having to look at statistics, which we will get into tonight, but without even having to look at statistics, certain racial demographics are generally stigmatized, or they are rightfully so holding the title for whatever that particular crime is. And when it comes to mass pew-pewing, we know that that's predominantly white men, right? White men or even young people participate in that type of crime. But when it comes to gang violence, that's something that predominantly it's looked at as though it is an African-American Black phenomenon. So he was redirecting, right? And the thing about Charlie Kirk is I don't believe that he was not an intelligent man, that he was not aware of how to look up data. I believe he was disingenuous because I believe that he knew that most organizations, when they define mass pew-pewing, they do not include gang violence for a reason. Well, why? Because gang violence is considered something dealing with a motive between two enemy forces, right? Not innocent bystanders. It's not usually one person that's coming in to inflict harm on a multiple group of people. It's usually multiple gang members at war with other gang members, opposing gang members. And so that's why they do not put it within the statistical data for mass pew-pewing. And I know that he knew that, but yet because he was trying to prove a point of what he focused on and emphasized on so many times was trying to make us look bad, because that's what he did. That's how, just much like Candace Owens, that's how he built his platform. He built it off of making us look like we are the enemies, we are the criminals, and these good white men are they are victims to a society that's being handed over by these criminal Black people. Oh, by the way, make sure you put the Lord Jesus Christ as your personal savior, right? Someone said earlier in someone's comment section that he preached hate in Jesus' name. And a lot of them do. And so what I'm going to do tonight is I'm going to do what he didn't do. What he didn't get a chance to, if you will, or didn't do in the redirect. I'm going to talk about the issue of mass pew-pewing and why it's a huge phenomenon, huge problem in America. Because we know that 1 hour after Charlie was deleted, a Colorado school pew-pewing happened. 1 hour afterwards, because of this, there was no focus on what happened there initially. Now, of course, people are talking about it, but there was no initial focus on what happened in Colorado, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share this video. I'm going to share two videos, and I hope I'm pulling the right one up. If I'm not, I'm going to pull it down and then pull up the other one. But yeah, here it is. Okay, here we go. I want y'all to take a look at this video. And by the way, fair use, and all that good stuff.
Well, overnight in Colorado, crowds gathered in the Denver suburb of Evergreen for prayer, music, and reflection, supporting one another after Wednesday's school shooting. A 16-year-old boy shot and injured two students with a revolver and later died after shooting himself. Police are now releasing more information about his motives. They say he was radicalized by an extremist network and posted these photos of the gun to his X account that officials linked to him. But they still are not sure how he got the gun or if he tried to hurt a specific person. They are praising students and staff for their quick thinking during their lockdown.
He had to keep reloading. He would fire and reload, fire and reload, fire and reload. This went on and on. And as he did that, he tried to find new targets.
Officials say 2 students remain hospitalized. One of them is 18-year-old Matthew Silverstone. Police have obtained search warrants for the shooter's home, phone, and locker, and add that his parents are cooperating with the investigation.
All right, so I want to, Zariah Lee, she says, I'm from Colorado. Wow, must be rough. Must be rough, sis. So I want to go in and I'm going to share a little bit more about what happened, because I thought they had some very interesting things to say about this teenager, right? Some interesting things to say about his motive.
We're getting some answers about the shooter behind this attack. Denver 7 chief investigative reporter Tony Kovaleski joins us now live in studio. Tony, you have been breaking news nonstop for the past 24 hours. You've been very busy, and you were the first on the scene at the house of the suspected shooter. What can you tell us now that you're learning today?
Well, it has certainly been a busy 24 hours, Natalie. Our sources describe an all-hands-on-deck environment as investigators still work to determine the motive of the 16-year-old shooter. Now, you should know we will include his name and his picture in this report, but after 24 hours, our policy will exclude his picture from our reporting and minimize the use of his name.
We know that the suspect...
Okay, I want to stop right there for a minute. Did y'all hear what that reporter said? I'm going to play it back for you so you can hear what he just said, because I thought that was pretty interesting.
After 24 hours, our policy will exclude his picture from our reporting and minimize the use of his name.
Now, do y'all see how that works when it's one of them? Do you see how after our reporting, our policy is after 24 hours to remove his image and his name? Come on now, sis. But if he was one of us, he would be plastered for life. Why is it your policy all of a sudden? Like, what is this? What is this new policy about? I mean, the double standards, right? Why? Come on, why? The double standards are ridiculous. And see, this is the kind of stuff right here that we have such a problem with when it comes to understanding how life works, right, between the two different races. Because you get to just get up there on your media station and talk about how you're going to hide the identity of this person who is supposed to be a heinous monster and criminal. Why? I mean, if you say that you're people who actually cares about justice and all that stuff, why would you be trying to hide his image after 24 hours? And please don't pull that, oh, because he was just a minor. No, because this minor went in and pew-pewed 3 people to deletion, they unalived them and hurt many more. So how does he get a pass? See, this is the problem that they don't want to address. These are the types of hypocrisies that they don't want to address among them. And that's really what we're going to be talking about tonight, because when you put a spotlight of attention on what they do, then all of a sudden you're a mean person. All of a sudden you're bad. All of a sudden you're just not right. You're just, you're being mean, and you're not being fair, and all of these things. When you put a spotlight on what they do, even when our children are innocent or they're defending themselves, even when our children like Carmelo Anthony are defending themselves, you vilify them and plaster them. Carmelo Anthony is a 16-year-old boy. And he was protecting himself. Why wasn't the policy after 24 hours to take off his image and hide his identity? Instead, they vilified him and make him like a monster, while this actual monster now gets protection? Come on, bruh. Let's continue.
We know that the suspect had a handgun.
24 hours after the shooting, the Jefferson County Sheriff's Office provided more details about 16-year-old Desmond Hawley.
He had to keep reloading. He would fire and reload, fire and reload, fire and reload. This went on and on.
Details coming out after investigators spent several hours Wednesday night digging through the teen gunman's home. This is exclusive video. his home about 15 minutes from Evergreen High School. Our cameras captured nearly a dozen law enforcement vehicles driving into the community. Inside the house, we could see cameras flashing as investigators executed the search warrant, trying to find out more insight into the shooter's motive.
Based on some of the information that we're seeing about this suspect, is that he was radicalized by some extremist network.
Sheriff sources confirming investigators.
Okay, we got to stop right there again. Excuse me? He was radicalized by some extreme network? Which one? Which one? Which extremist network? I mean, inquiring minds would really like to know. Because, many of us have heard that when somebody goes off, regardless of the ethnicity, if they have been radicalized by, let's say, Islamists, they'll say they were radicalized by an extreme Islamist network. They'll even specify which one. They'll show videos, they'll show the letter, they'll show all of those things, right? When it comes to other ethnic groups and the radicalization, if you will, all of a sudden, they can be discussed, they can be talked about, but now we got to hide who this extremist network was. Now, some? What do you mean some? Come on, you know darn well. You looking at the papers, you looking at all of his notes, you looking at the back and forth communication, y'all up in his house. Ain't nothing can be hidden there. You're in his bedroom at this point. You know exactly how he was getting down, who he was talking to, who he was being influenced by. And yet that information you don't want to disclose. I wonder why. You know what I'm saying? For real, sis. They're always pulling the mental health outside influences card, stating that they have their whole life ahead of them and show leniency. Right? It's always mental health issues. But in this case, we just going to, we're going to hide his image, we're going to hide his name, and we're not going to talk about how he became radicalized. I mean, could it have been somebody that looked like him? I'm just wondering.
There's also trying to discover if there were any accomplices to Desmond Hawley's shooting spree, and also acknowledging they are looking to determine what his parents knew before the shooting.
The suspect's parents,
parents, I assume is the right word here.
they have been cooperative.
Are they under investigation for any reason?
I think everything is on the table when it comes to looking at this investigation and where it leads us. And I think that they're aware of that as well. But we have not run into a roadblock with this family.
And again, stressing, the sheriff's spokesperson confirmed today that the gunman's parents have been cooperative with investigators. One key question, that remains unanswered is, where did the shooter get his gun? Now, our sources saying right now they do not know, but that is a question investigators continue to focus on. It's an answer they want.
Tony, we know that when you get that answer, you will keep us updated. You have been doing what you do best for the last 24 hours, which is get important information out to.
Now that's a lie. They're not getting any important information out to the public. They're protecting him. They're saying what they have to say and what they have to put out. But the information that's important, that's what they're hiding from us. They don't want to show his face. They don't want to show his name. And they don't want to talk about which group radicalized him. And then they're saying they don't know where he got his pew-pew from, which probably is a lie as well. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I saw that house. I was like, whoa. You know what I'm saying? Look, we're going to talk about that too. Coming from money. We're going to talk about that. But you know what I'm saying? It's like, you're not really telling what's really happening. You're telling the audience who's listening to you what little information that you have to bring out. And I'm pulling back because you know, when you look at the evidence, that it doesn't line up with what you want the country to think, which is something we already know. See, that's the thing I don't understand about the mind behind white supremacists. It's like somebody having a booger hanging out of their nose and trying to pretend like nobody see it. We all see it. We all see it. And we point it out. But they said, no, that's just, that's a figment of your imagination. It's like they try to hide and make themselves look innocent in every case. But here, clearly, this white teen was radicalized by a group that they don't want to mention. And it resulted in the unaliving of 3 youths or 3 teens or whoever was at the school, because I didn't get into the details of that. But this is nothing new. And like Sis said, who was in Colorado, I think she said they've had 5 this year. Colorado is a huge problem. Is a huge problem. Because y'all remember this stuff really like jumped off in this word right here, Columbine, in 1999. Y'all do me a favor, put a 1 in the chat if you remember Columbine. Put a 1 in the chat. If you remember what happened during Columbine, put a 1 in the chat. This was 1999. Some of y'all too young to remember. Okay. Those of us who know, we know. There's that was the beginning. That shocked all of us, right? Just like the DC sniper. It shocked all of us. Peace and blessings, Pastor Rick Fletcher. Good to see you. Y'all do me a favor, get them likes up also. Let's get this word out. We got a lot of things to talk about tonight. I'm just at the beginning. Taking my time. I'm at the beginning. Thumbs up. So a lot of us remember what happened in 1999 with the Columbine deletion. And the motivation that we were told for those boys who killed Cassie and Rachel. Why do I know their name? Cassie and Rachel. Cassie and Rachel, the reason why I know their name is because many Christians, white evangelicals, remember back during that time when it happened, okay? That was around the time, maybe a few years after that happened, that I got saved, right? So I started going to church. And a lot of Christians, both black and white, were talking about the Columbine issue. And some were making songs. And one person in particular who made a song, he was a black rapper called The Truth. I don't know if y'all remember The Truth, but I remember that he made a song specifically about the Columbine pew-pewing. And he mentioned the names of the 2 girls, Cassie and Rachel, that were involved because he said how they were devout Christians. Okay. And then there was a movie also made about their lives. They said that these boys, Dylan, I think his name Dylan, and Eric, that they were inspired by heavy metal music. Okay. Heavy metal to produce this vitriol on the inside of them to where they would do what they did. So during that time, before, that was unheard of. It was unheard of for any kid to go into a school and pew-pew. What wasn't unheard of was folk going postal, right? Remember there used to be a lot of pew-pewing at post offices? Y'all put a 1 in the chat if y'all remember that. There used to be a lot of pew-pewing at post office. Them folk was mad. They was like, I've had it. And that's where the term going postal came from. Because it was a lot of pew-pewing going on in those spaces, right? But this was like the first time that this had happened in a school, right? That was like, what? And everybody felt it, right? Because they're like, man, nowhere is safe. If school isn't safe, nowhere's safe. So when Dylan and Eric did what they did in Columbine, that set the precedence for what we have now, 26 years later. This is a regular occurrence. So we're going to take a look at this article real quick and talk about these school pew-pewings. And I hate saying that word over and over again, but y'all know how it is. We are really being restricted, and we're trying the best that we can to tiptoe around the algorithm so we can stay on air, okay? So we don't get put out to pasture on these YouTube streets. All right, so let's go ahead and pull up what's got to say here. Once again, a pew-pewing with multiple victims has rocked Colorado, this time at a high school in Evergreen. At least 2 students were Wednesday at Evergreen High School, which is located roughly 28 miles southwest of Denver. The suspect, a student at the school, was deleted from self-inflicted injuries, officials said. It is the 47th y'all forgive me, I'm trying. It is the 47th pew-pewing at a school in the U.S. so far this year. 24 of which were on college campuses and 23 on K through 12 school grounds. So 24 of them were on college grounds where it was adults, right? 18 and over for the most part. But right underneath that, by shy of 1, it's been in schools from K to 12th grade. Okay, I'm going to take a minute to pause on that. Let's just pause on that for a minute. I want to say this because this was not in my notes, but I want to say this. Okay, since I see you, it wasn't your 5th pew-pewing this year, but our 10th since Columbine. Okay, thank you so much for clarifying. This is one of the reasons why I believe that it's a good thing to homeschool. Okay, this is one of the reasons why I believe that it is a very important thing to homeschool your children. There are so many resources out here. When I tell y'all that, from the time I started homeschooling 15 years ago to now, there's been an explosion of resources that are available, both paid and free, right? Because some of y'all be wondering, like, I can't afford to homeschool. Listen, I've been doing it a long time and juggling the financial weight of homeschooling a large family. And no, it is not easy, but that's why I'm telling you that there are free resources. Because, I have a very, very close friend, my best friend, like my sister and my mentor. Her children are scholars, okay? They are absolute scholars. They've all graduated magna cum laude from college between the ages of 16 and 17 years old, okay? They were featured on national and international news, all of that stuff. And sometimes I would feel so like, I wasn't able to meet her standard, right, of her skill educationally. And I would remember talking to Yahuwah about it. And I felt just this peace come over me in my spirit, that it wasn't about my children becoming geniuses, which my children are amazing, okay? They're very intelligent. But it wasn't about them becoming geniuses as much as it was about protecting them, keeping them safe from all of the things that happen in that particular environment. Now, pew-pewing is definitely a terrible, terrible thing. It's a regular occurrence in American schools. But there's so much more than just that our children are being exposed to being in these institutions. And it's gotten to the point now where many children are just being passed from one grade to the next and can't even read on a 3rd and 4th and 5th grade level. I follow, teachers who talk about this all the time. Many teachers are quitting because they just can't deal with the violence of the students anymore. Oh, it's a big deal. It's a huge deal what's happened to the children in the public schools. It's serious. You have a lot of teachers now. Like I said, I'm going to harp on this for a minute. You have a lot of teachers now, especially in our communities, that are dressing extremely inappropriate. And they're seducing young children. I know y'all know that this stuff is going on, right? It's a lot. So I'm just saying that we have to change our perspective when it comes to what we can and cannot do. We don't have to go with what everybody else is doing just because that's what they're doing. You might be like, oh, I got to work in the daytime. Who said you have to homeschool in the daytime? You can homeschool in the evening if that works for you. Try your best to see how you can work that out so you can protect these babies. let me continue. All right, so Colorado's pew-pewing took place less than an hour after conservative activist Charlie Kirk was pewed at an event at Utah Valley University and later passed. For nearly 3 decades, Colorado has experienced some of the highest profile pew-pewings in the nation. Tragedies that claim the lives of ordinary Americans sitting in classrooms or movie theaters, shopping for groceries, or dancing at nightclubs. All right, so this is them, mourning right here, the 25th anniversary of the Columbine. All right. April 20th, 1999, Pew Pew changed the way police responded to all the active pew-pewings that follow, with increased focus on targeting the pewer as soon as possible. Nearly 50 minutes passed after the G fire started before SWAT teams entered the school in Littleton. By then, 12 students and 1 teacher had been deleted by the 17 and 18-year-old G-men. The shooters, oh, Father help me, made home videos before the attack with references to what they were going to do and apologizing to their parents for their actions. They then deleted themselves. The pew-pewing at Columbine ranked as one of the worst mass pew-pewings in U.S. history at the time, as well as one of the worst, we'll just say that, episodes of school violence. Colorado Springs Club pew-pewing. This is another one that happened. A 22-year-old G-man entered an LGBTQ nightclub in November 2022 in Colorado Springs. I remember this. Shortly before midnight, it immediately opened fire, killing at least 5 people and injuring 25 others before patrons confronted and stopped him. Police said at least 2 people inside Club Q confronted the G-man and prevented further violence, said Colorado Springs Police Chief Adrian Vasquez. The suspect used a long rifle in the pew-pewing and 2 F-arms were found at the scene, Vasquez said. The subject pleaded guilty to 5 counts of first-degree deletion and 46 counts of attempted deletion in 2023. Okay? I'm not going to go through all of this, but this is just to show y'all. This is Colorado here. This is Colorado. All of this. This is Colorado. Who do y'all keep seeing in these images? Who are y'all seeing? Are y'all seeing us? Are we predominant in any of this? This is Colorado since 1999. I mean, it's gotten so bad when it comes to the pew-pewing that is taking place in the nation that y'all remember Sandy Hook? Do me a favor and put a 1 in the chat if y'all remember Sandy Hook. Put a 1 in the chat if you remember Sandy Hook. It's gotten so bad with the pew-pewing, the mass pew-pewing in the nation. And then when Sandy Hook happened, they did something that, it just kind of, it threw people for a loop. It threw people for a loop, and I'm going to show y'all what they did. Because this is really what has happened to where they felt they needed to put a commercial out. Y'all take a look at this commercial if you haven't seen it before.
This year, my mom got me the perfect bag for back to school.
These colorful binders help me stay organized.
These headphones are just what I need for studying.
These new sneakers are just what I need for the new year.
This jacket is a real must-have.
My parents got me the skateboard I wanted. It's pretty cool.
These scissors really come in handy in art class.
These colored pencils, too.
These new socks, they can be a real lifesaver.
I finally got my own phone to stay in touch with my mom.
Now, what kind of messed up commercial is that? What kind of messed up commercial is that? That's what you have to put. You know, that looked like one of those Target commercials at first. Oh, back to school. Get your back to school backpacks. Back to school. Get ready. All of a sudden, it went dark and twisted. It just went dark and twisted. But look, that's where we're at. That's where we're at with these mass deletions that have happened. What I'm going to show y'all right now is the mass deletion in 2025. This is, I'm just going to say the word, Gun Violence Archive. Mass deletions in 2025. Y'all see this? Let me start from the top. Okay, January, from the bottom to the top. This is all January. All this is January. All the places this happened in 2025. Then we get to February. There's 13 pages. There's only one on the other page on 13, so I started with 12. February to March. Okay? February to March. Page number 10 on here. March. We still all the way in March. Then April. This is all the pew-pewing, mass pew-pewing that is taking place in this year. In this year, family. This wasn't an accumulation of 10 or more years. This wasn't Columbine till now. This is this year. What has been happening? We talking June. Sorry, my little boy is going off. Daddy got him though. Don't worry, he's fine. May to June. All these deletions. We're in September now. We're in September. June. All of this is in June. I'm taking my time so we can really take it in. So we can really take in the amount of mass. See, because when that man asked him about mass pew-pewings, right? This is the data here. We still in June. And now it's into July. Now it's in July. There were so many in July, in June, and now July. Then July, more, 2 pages in July, 2 pages filled. Now we're into August. We're into August now. And now we're into September. And y'all see what they have there at the top? On the same day. The day after. They didn't even put, y'all see, they didn't even put here between September 9th and September 11th. I'm going to show y'all what they did. They did on this database. Remember that Charlie Kirk was deleted on the 10th. And on the same day, there was one in Colorado. They didn't even put it here. There's one missing. There was one in Florida, though. 5 injured. 1 deleted. We didn't even hear about the one in Florida. They didn't put the one in Colorado on there. This is the database for all these mass deletions. And this year alone. So why didn't he want to talk about that? Why did he want to turn the discussion to something that's not even considered a mass pew-pewing? Why? Is there not enough to discuss among your own community and your own people? So we're going to talk about who does these mass deletions in large from a racial standpoint. Mass deleters by race. They're going from 1966 to 2024. And I'm going to show you some things in here. Because remember, 1966 to 2024, that's a good stretch. This is what they're talking about. Report highlights Black and white males, excluding gang violence have the highest rates of mass deletions among demographic groups with 0.09 incidents per 100,000 people. White Americans commit 53% of the 195 mass deletions between 1966 and 2024. Black Americans commit 21% of all targeted mass public deletions between 1966 and 2024. Now we have to remember the 60s versus now, and there is a huge difference, and you're going to see it when you look down in the demographics in a little bit. Across all racial groups, 98% of mass shooters are male, with no female mass shooters reported among Asians and Latinos. It is what it is. You two going to have to do what they're going to have to do. So there's no standard definition for mass deletions in U.S. Mass deletions are, as defined in this article, are public deletions with 4 or more unalivings, excluding the deleter, and do not include gang or family violence. Do y'all see? Charlie Kirk knew what he was doing. He knew they didn't include gang violence, but you want to redirect? Okay, so since 1966, the U.S. has experienced 195 targeted mass deletions since October 2024. And we already read, they say 53% were done by whites. Now, what they try to do here, notice here, they try to minimize on the bar graph how many white people, white men, committed these mass deletions. 103 is 103. That represents total mass deletions, okay, per 100,000 citizens. See, they have the highest here, but then they want to put black up here and make it higher. And I'm going to tell you how they did that. What they did was they tried to base it off of the amount of people in the population. They try to say, well, based off of the fact that white men make up 31% of the U.S. population, but they committed 51% of all the mass deletions since 1966, a rate of 0.09% per 100,000 people is what they were given. But since Black Americans comprise 13% of the population and accounted for 21% of all the mass deletions between 1966 and 2024 with a rate of 0.009 per 100,000 people, of those 41 incidents, only 1 involved a female shooter. They try to make ours look more than theirs based off of what they say is percentages. Now, these percentages of us are what they calculate during the census. And they already acknowledge that a lot of Black folk don't even respond to the census. So they've been saying we 13% of the population for I don't know how long. But not everybody is reporting in the census. And as long as they can continue to make us look small, they can continue to make themselves look grandiose. But what y'all need to understand is this part right here. Mass deletions and race, nearly 3/4, 3/4 of all mass deletions in the U.S. have taken place since 1993, with white males responsible for more incidents than any other demographic group. But see, they can't take accountability. Well, we can't be that. Well, let's throw them Black folk in there. However, on a per capita basis, Black and white Americans have higher rates of mass deletions. So overall, the race distribution of mass deletions align closely with each group's population size. You see, they want to make the math work the way they want it to make it work, because they know, by and large, they are guilty as charged. It is clear. You're 31% of the population and you commit 50% of the mass deletions? 50%? I mean, y'all know that they be on some other stuff. Then they're always making an excuse for themselves and everything that they do. They excuse themselves. They hold themselves guiltless. Well, even when the statistics come out, they got to try to figure out how to make the math, make them not look so bad and make us look bad. But the data is clear. out here doing the most. And they don't ever want to point that out, but it's coming out. They want to make themselves guiltless when they do things like what they did on January 6th, when they stormed the Capitol. Let's take a look. Some of us forgot how bad it was when they got so angry because the president they wanted didn't win.
We're going to give riot warning. We're going to try and get compliance, but this is now effectively a riot.
49 hours declaring it a riot.
5 to 50 be advised, Capitol Police 1 advised they're trying to breach and get to the Capitol.
We have a breach of the Capitol! Breach of the Capitol! We need to hold the doors of the Capitol. I need Kirk support. We lost the line. We lost the line. All MPDs get back. All MPDs get back up to the upper deck. All MPDs get back to the upper deck.
They were peaceful people. These were great people. The crowd was unbelievable. And I mentioned the word love, the love in the air. I've never seen anything like it.
These were peaceful people. The love that was in the air. I never seen anything like it. Didn't that just look so harmonious? And you know, it's interesting to me because these same people who stormed the Capitol are the people that are the most impacted in their emotions because of the passing of Charlie Kirk. And you got a lot of folk there saying, you might not have agreed with his politics, but it didn't mean that he had to be taken out. Violence is not the answer because you don't agree with his politics. I've heard both black and white say that. It doesn't mean that he should be taken out because you disagreed with how he believed. So explain to me why at a vigil, a man who exercised his freedom of speech was nearly beaten to deletion.
This guy's gonna get fucked with some
You know, I went into the comment section because I wanted to see what people thought about it. I mean, just a few days ago, they were talking about how it wasn't right. I mean, he has a right to his freedom of speech. You don't take him out because of that. So I asked, y'all see me on there, wasn't this just a crowd that said Charlie Kirk shouldn't have been taken out simply for saying something people disagree with? Asking for a friend. This was their responses. And look, they were getting tons of likes on this. See, they don't give me no likes when I speak that truth. Social media made y'all way too comfortable with disrespecting people and not getting punched in the face for it. They want to quote Mike Tyson, y'all. They quote Mike Tyson. Tolerance of intolerance is officially over. Looks like the right might finally be tired of taking crap from the left. He went there looking for a fight and he gets his wish. This is what happens when the right stops being tolerant towards leftist bigotry. Y'all about to find out. They about to see what woke really is. We are all awake. I replied to that one. I said, nah, y'all still eyes wide shut. You don't go to the crowd and disrespect the man they're grieving for and expect to come out with your teeth intact. This is the turning point. Liberals are all out of chances. You want a WAR? Fine, you'll get a WAR. Charlie will get justice and be avenged. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. Let's see who else wants to F around and find out. I'm sorry. How quickly has the language shifted? How quickly has the language shifted? When you were just saying just the other day for people in our community specifically who were saying, we don't have a dog in this fight. And do y'all understand that we're not going to shed tears over him because he was an entire racist? Well, you might not have agreed with his political views, the things that he had to say. There's no reason for him to be taken out. I mean, he had a wife and children. He had a wife and children. That's not right. For him to be taken out, don't y'all understand that? It's so disrespectful to him. What's that man's family supposed to do now? You know, I asked the same question about another family who was also taken out by Pew Pew in front of his girlfriend and his child. I asked that other question. So I'm going to go ahead and put that up there. Because this one right here spoke a lot of volumes to me. Viewer discretion is advised. I understand and wish to proceed.
We begin tonight with that chilling piece of video live streamed on Facebook in the moments after a man is shot by police. His girlfriend in the car pulling out her phone and then capturing the moments right after. Her exchange with the police officer, now seen by millions across this country. The pictures coming in now here in New York City of protesters gathering near Union Square. And just a short time ago, the governor of Minnesota asking, would this have happened if those passengers were white? He said, I don't think so. We begin with ABC's Gio Benitez in Minnesota.
Stay with me.
This is Diamond Reynolds streaming live on Facebook from her cell phone, just moments after her boyfriend, Philando Castile, was shot by police during a traffic stop over what she says was a broken taillight. She says Castile told the officer he was carrying a licensed gun.
He's licensed to carry. He was trying to get out his ID and his wallet out his pocket, and he let the officer know that he had a firearm and he was reaching for his wallet, and the officer just shot him in his arm.
The police officer pointing his gun into the car. Reynolds calm and clear. Her young daughter in the back seat.
Waiting for a back. I will, sir. No worries. I will. He just shot his arm off. We got pulled over on Larpener.
I told him not to reach for it. I told him to get his hand out.
You told him to get his ID, sir, and his driver's license. Oh my God, please don't tell me he's dead. Please don't tell me my boyfriend just went like that.
Keep your hands where they are, please.
Yes, I will, sir. I'll keep my hands where they are. Where's my daughter? You got my daughter?
Then officers, guns drawn, order Reynolds out of the car.
Get on your knees. Get on your knees.
Now on the ground, she never stops live streaming.
They threw my phone, Facebook.
Police performed CPR on Castile on the street. Reynolds now detained in a patrol car, her cell phone still recording.
I don't know if he's okay or if he's not okay.
Her daughter still with her. Reynolds finally breaks down.
I can't really do because they got me handcuffed.
It's okay, Mommy.
I can't believe they just did this.
It's okay, I'm right here with you.
Philando Castile, a supervisor at a school cafeteria where kids loved him, was taken to the hospital and died. Diamond Reynolds says she was held by police until 5 o'clock this morning. This is where the shooting happened. I'm told it's usually a quiet neighborhood. People have been gathering here since the incident, and just take a look at what they're posting. Film the police. Reynolds today explaining why she did just that.
I didn't do it for pity. I didn't do it for fame. I did it so that the world knows that these police are not here to protect and serve us. They are here to assassinate us. They are here to kill us because we are black.
Later, she got a face-to-face apology from Minnesota Governor Mark Dayton.
I can't tell you how sorry I am. The terrible tragedy was enforced on you and on your family.
I don't want you guys to be sorry. I want y'all to be more careful.
You want justice.
And late today, this statement from the governor.
Would this have happened if those passengers, the driver and the passenger were white? I don't think it would have. This kind of racism exists.
And Gio Benitez is with us from St. Paul, Minnesota tonight. And Gio, what do we know about the police officer at the center of the case?
Well, David, that officer has not yet been identified, but we know that he's on paid leave at home, and investigators did speak with him this afternoon. David.
Gio Benitez leading us off tonight. Thank you, Gio.
You know that part when her baby said, "It's okay. I'm right here with you, Mom." That broke me. That broke me. For those of y'all who don't know, it was that moment in time it's still hard. It was that moment in time where I began to question what I had been taught every Sunday at church. And I began to search of truth about our true identity. That was the pivotal point of change in my life. And there we saw, what was that? The mayor, whoever he was, acknowledging that what happened to Philando Castile would not have happened if he was white. That racism exists. So what happened to the officer? What happened to the one who did what he did to him? Let's see.
We got pulled over for a busted tail light in the back. And the police he's covered. They killed my boyfriend. He's licensed to carry. He was trying to get out his ID and his wallet out his pocket, and he let the officer know that he had a firearm.
I am so disappointed in the state of Minnesota. My son loved this state. He had one tattoo on his body, and it was of the Twin Cities, the state of Minnesota with TC on it. My son loved this city, and this city killed my son.
Yes. Y'all took my coworker. Yes. Y'all took him. He can't come to work tomorrow. My brother. Y'all took my friend. Yeah.
Whose possessors slay them and hold themselves not guilty. And they that sell them say, Blessed be the Lord, for I am rich, and their own shepherds pity them not. Zechariah 11:5. They slay us and hold themselves not guilty. And they sit there and they say, well, why don't y'all have empathy? Why don't y'all feel bad because of Charlie Kirk? And what happened to him? Well, we respond like this.
Commentaries. Charlie Kirk was shot dead today. Let's take a look at the legacy that he will leave behind. So how about we start with his campaign to dismantle the legacy of the civil rights movement. In a December 2023 speech, Charlie Kirk didn't just critique Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., he launched a full-scale character assassination, labeling him as awful and not a good person, claiming he's only admired for saying things he didn't actually believe. Now, he went even further. Kirk called the landmark Civil Rights Act of 1964 a huge mistake and argued that it created a permanent DEI type of bureaucracy. Now, he pushed the radical theory as well that the act, in his words, superseded the U.S. Constitution. And then when he was challenged, he doubled down, calling MLK a mythological anti-racist creation, and then bragged about targeting the sacred cow of modern America. On abortion, he publicly celebrated the overturning of Roe v. Wade. And here's what he said when he was asked if he would force his own 10-year-old daughter to carry a pregnancy to term after she was assaulted.
And she was 10 and she got raped. And she was going to give birth and she would and she was going to give birth and she was going to live. Would you want her to go through that and carry her baby?
That's awfully graphic.
But it's a real life scenario that happens to many people.
The answer is yes, the baby would be delivered.
Now, on gun violence, he consistently downplayed America's gun violence epidemic.
I think it's worth to have a cost of, unfortunately, some gun deaths every single year so that we can have the Second Amendment to protect our other God-given rights.
On race in Black America, Charlie Kirk supported a ban on DEI, overturning the Civil Rights Act and promoting a whitewash version of history. He supported banning AP African American Studies and even said that when it comes to slavery, there's a lot more to the story. And when it comes to Black professionals, on pilots, he stated, if I see a Black pilot, I'm going to be like, boy, I hope he's qualified. He also blamed Black people for the air traffic controller crisis. He frequently disparages Supreme Court Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson as a diversity hire and insisted that she was only appointed because she's a Black woman. He denies that systemic racism even exists and supports punitive sentencing and then referred to George Floyd as a scumbag. He even led the efforts to pardon Derek Chauvin, the police officer that was convicted of his murder. Now, on women and misogyny, he's no better. His misogyny covers us all. He went on a bizarre rant directed at Taylor Swift, instructing her to submit to her husband. And he also claimed that men don't want to date women in their 30s because we're not at our prime. Democracy and January 6th, his group, Turning Point USA, was deeply involved in efforts to try and overturn the 2020 election. He bragged about sending 80 buses to Washington, D.C. on January 6th for people to fight for Donald Trump. And then when he was subpoenaed by the House committee investigating the insurrection, he pled the fifth. On Palestine, he denies the very existence of the Palestinian people and their homeland and says outright that Palestinians in Palestine just doesn't exist.
I don't think the place exists.
What?
Because it doesn't. It's called Judea and Samaria.
So we show up and share facts about who he was, and they get upset. They get upset because we tell the truth about who he was. We don't sit there, most of us, with these fake tears, conjuring up a fake life, making him a martyr or a king or a saint or the second coming of MLK like they've been doing lately. All of this nonsense. And that makes them angry that we see it for what it is. So this live is brought to you by Galatians chapter 6. Galatians chapter 6. I'm going to pull up the exact verse. Let's go to verse 7. Be not deceived. Alua is not mocked. For whatsoever a man sows, that shall he also reap. Whatever he sows, that's what he's going to reap. And America has sown a lot of evil, a whole lot. Reminds me a lot of what took place in the first Egyptian captivity that our people were under. It reminds me of that. And how the Most High had the people of Yah respond to their captives when they were going through what they were going through. So Exodus chapter 12 is where he's talking about the Passover. And this is what he says in verse 12. On that same night, I will pass through Egypt and strike down every firstborn of both people and animals, and I will bring judgment on all the gods of Egypt. I am Yahuwah. The blood will be a sign for you on the houses where you are, and when I see the blood, I will pass over you. No destructive plague will touch you when I strike Egypt. Why did he say that? Why did he say that, family? Because remember, the Egyptians did it first. They threw all the Hebrew baby boys into the Nile, the firstborn. And all of them, really. Any baby boy that they could throw in, they threw them in the Nile to be fed by the crocodiles. So he said, okay, well, now I'm going to give you back what you did to us, to my people. I'm going to strike your firstborn, both people and animal. See, a lot of us, we don't realize this verse in chapter 12, verse 14 says a lot about what Passover is. This is a day you are to commemorate. For the generations to come, you shall celebrate it as a festival unto Yahuwah, a lasting ordinance. A celebration? A lasting ordinance? For how he dealt with the enemies of Yasharel? That's what Passover is. How he dealt with the enemies of Yasharel and protected us. You see, they did a lot of stuff, just like they're doing a lot of stuff in America. Remember, they fed the Hebrew babies to crocodiles in Egypt, and they fed the Hebrew babies to alligators in America. Gator baiting. That's what they did here. They target our children. They target our children all the time from their womb. From the womb, our children are targeted. See, I'm gonna make this all make sense in a minute. I'm gonna make it all make sense. Why it is that there's so many mass deletions. But they target our babies.
Of Black leaders is calling out Planned Parenthood for, quote, targeting Black communities for abortions. At the same time, the nation's largest abortion provider openly voices its support for the Black Lives Matter movement. In a letter to Planned Parenthood, President Alexis McGill Johnson, they write in part, quote, can Planned Parenthood really claim to care for Black lives while remaining complicit in the targeting of Black pregnant women? This massive inequity and the disproportionate harm it does to Black Americans is fully in keeping with the racist eugenicist vision of your organization's founder. Joining me now on Skype is Reverend Dean Nelson, Executive Director of the Pro-Life Human Coalition Action and one of the signatories of that letter. Reverend, welcome back to the show. Always good to see you.
It's a pleasure. Thanks so much for having me.
You say the impact of abortion on the Black community is disproportionate. Let's talk more about that and the lives lost.
Yeah, when you think about the roughly 1 million abortions that take place every year, roughly 36% of those are on Black women. In cities like New York, There are more Black children that are aborted than born alive. So it is huge in terms of the impact that abortion has had on the African American community. And we are charging and calling Planned Parenthood out because for over 100 years, through their vision of their founder, Margaret Sanger, they have systematically targeted Black and minority communities specifically for their population control. And more recently, of course, since Roe v. Wade, for abortion.
Yeah, in your letter, you say 79% of Planned Parenthood surgical abortion facilities are located in or near communities of color. Why do you think that is? And in what ways does that support the legacy of Planned Parenthood's founder?
I think that it should be noted that Planned Parenthood's affiliate in New York charged the same thing, saying that Margaret Sanger was a racist, and even said that their organization has participated in reproductive harm. We know through many research pieces that have been done that Planned Parenthood puts their abortion facilities in walking distance of Black and Latino neighborhoods. And so this letter, with over 100 African-American signers, some doctors, some lawyers, elected officials, both Catholic, Protestant, Democrat, and Republican, are really calling out the racist history of this organization.
Yeah, and you and I spoke back in June after the killing of George Floyd. We discussed the calls for racial equality across the country and what this moment means for the nation. In your opinion, what type of actions do you think the Planned Parenthood should take?
You know, what they should do is to live up to the lies that they've told in the past, saying that they provide health for women. Abortion is not health care. And at Human Coalition, that's what we've been doing for the last decade, is providing free health care for women who find themselves in unplanned pregnancies through our telehealth as well as our brick and mortar clinics. We will this year see some 100,000 women, mostly women of color, providing real answers for them who find themselves in these unplanned pregnancies. That's what Planned Parenthood should be doing. I don't expect that they'll change their business model after 100 years. And that's why we at Human Coalition offer that type of alternative.
Reverend, thank you so much for coming on this show.
But family, that's what we're dealing with. That's what we're dealing with when we're talking about what they have done to us. From the womb, we know that the mortality rate is much higher for quote unquote African-American women who are giving birth. We know that our pain is not taken seriously. If something happens to us, we're treated like we're complaining. All of those things, they hold themselves guiltless too. But from the time that our seed is in our womb, they're giving us subpar health care. Up until the time that we're giving birth. And a lot of what people don't understand is that when a woman is giving birth, particularly from the quote unquote African American community, they're trying to push for her to get a C-section. It's happened to me several times. They want you to have a C-section. Well, why do they want you to have a C-section? Because they understand that when they cut your belly, that they're weakening your womb. They understand that. Not to mention that when the baby goes through the vaginal canal, there is a film that is put over the baby that protects the baby from getting different bacterial infections and things of that nature, because you know their immune system is very, very low. So when they come through the vaginal canal, they get that protective film, but when they come through by way of C-section, they do not get that. So they become sicker. They're more prone to sickness. So after you've had about two or three at the most C-sections, you can't even carry another baby because you're going to miscarry again and again and again because your womb has become too weak. They know specifically what they're doing. And even when you talk about the fertility centers, how they have the fertility centers in largely white neighborhoods, and they made the cost of fertility exorbitant so that a regular person on a regular salary who wanted to start a family and was struggling could not get access to that. In vitro fertilization, they want the access to go to the white wealthy community. This is all the things that they do. They do this stuff, and when they do it, it has an impact on how the rest of us live. But it's not just that. We know that they speak in their language to one another about how they feel about us. And one pastor, just this last 2 days ago, was called out for it. This is BET. Christian nationalist pastor claims white parents fail if they don't teach their kids to avoid black people. This is what they're teaching their children. Joel Webbin went on to add that telling a white child to love all races is putting that child in danger. This is the face of Christianity. This is the face of it. This is a pastor. A pastor. This is what he looks like. Joel Webbin, a Christian nationalist pastor, claimed during a recent speech the white parents aren't parenting properly if they don't tell their children to fear and not interact with black people. He also noted that telling a white child to love all races is feeding them a lie that could put their child in danger. If you're a Christian white parent who loves the Lord and loves your children, you need to have the talk, Webbin said in his speech captured by People for the American Way's right-wing watch. The talk that we're referencing is the talk that takes your children according to their maturity at the proper time, the appropriate time, and says there are certain parts of town that you cannot go. And there are certain people that you cannot be around. If there's someone who was black in our church and they've been in our church and we know them and they love the Lord Jesus Christ, well, great. We're not talking about that person, Webbin continued. But we're talking about when you go into a crowd of people. If you go into a crowd of strangers and they're white strangers, there's some danger. If they're black strangers, there is 30 times more danger. Them's the facts. And it's actually a failure of your parental duty, white parents. Please hear me. If you teach your children growing up, if you lie to them and say all people and all races of people in our country are the same, they are not. He added, you are actually depriving your child of factual, truthful information that could save their life. Now, one thing out of this entire thing that I agree with, he said, don't tell your children that all of us are the same, because we're not. I agree with that. No, we're not the same. And if you have this colorblind mentality, you are being a bit delusional. But this guy, he singles out us. We just be minding our business. As a matter of fact, he's giving counter advice to what has been said by and large, that if a child is by some chance without their parents, the first person they need to look for is a black woman. Okay? That's the first person they need to look for. Because a black mama gonna be like, baby, where your mama at? Where your daddy at? No, baby, come here. No. We need to deal with this. No, baby. Somebody get your child. Come on, your baby right here. It's okay, baby. It's okay. I got you. That they know that. This dude talking about 30 times more likely to be in danger? Let's continue. Raw Story notes that Christian nationalism is on the rise since Trump's second term in office. It's an extremist political movement that believes not in Jesus Christ as the savior, but that the United States must fall under their interpretation of biblical law. Central to their belief is that the Seven Mountains Mandate, which says Christians, or at least their specific flavor of Christians, must take command of the seven supposed pillars of control within society. Yes, that is called the, I'm very familiar with that. Kingdom Now theology. It's not uncommon for white supremacists to fold their views in with the Christian nationalist community, including some preachers who openly praise the institution of slavery. Kingdom Now theology is major. It's not small. It's not a fringe group. This is on Moody Radio. I know, because I used to listen to it all the time. The seven pillars of society: politics, entertainment. I'm naming a couple of them. Education. They believe that whatever the highest realms of society are, that a white evangelical should be at the head of all of it. This is what we're talking about right here. This is their mentality as quote unquote Christians. So you want to know why all these mass pew-pews and calamities are happening in America? I mean, that's what you're here for. That's the question nobody wants to deal with. I know it's uncomfortable. I know people don't want to deal with this reality. They don't like it because they're used to drinking their Kool-Aid and believing that white Jesus is coming to rapture them. But Joel chapter 3 says that when he restores the fortunes of Judah and Jerusalem, he's going to gather all nations and bring them down to the valley of Jehoshaphat and put them on trial. Why? For what they did to his inheritance, his people Yasharel, because they scattered his people among the nations and divided up his land. Now look at verse 3. They cast lots for my people and traded boys for prostitutes and sold girls for wine to drink. This is why there are all of these things that are happening right now. It's happening right now because it's payback time. Yahuwah said the vengeance is his, that he will repay. Oh, maybe that was not clear enough. So in Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 15 through 68, mark the curses of what happened to the children of Yasharel for disobeying the Most High. And he tell them, you will be cursed in the city and cursed in the field and cursed when you come and cursed when you go, and curse will be your what is it? Your market, your store, everything, your basket, your children. You're going to have scabs on you. You're going to have boils on you. Your children are going to be taken from you. Your wives are going to be taken from you. You're going to look at your brother with an evil eye. Eventually, you're going to be sold into captivity. In Deuteronomy chapter 30, he says, prosperity after turning to Yahuwah. When all these blessings and curses I have set before you come on you, and you take them to heart wherever Yahuwah your Eluah disperses you among the nations, and when you and your children return to Yahuwah your Eluah and obey him with all your heart and with all your soul according to everything I command you today, then Yahuwah your Eluah will restore your fortunes and have compassion on you and gather you again from all the nations where he scattered you. Even if you've been banished to the most distant land under the heavens, from there Yahuwah your Eluah will gather you and bring you back. He will bring you to the land that belonged to your ancestors, and you will take possession of it. He will make you more prosperous and numerous than your ancestors. Yahuwah your Eluah will circumcise your hearts. We're going to be talking about this on Sunday, y'all. Definitely come in and join us for what is the new covenant, for real, from a biblical perspective, not a Christian one. Circumcise your hearts and the hearts of your descendants, so that you may love him with all your heart and with all your soul and live. Now, verse 7. Yahuwah, your Eluah, will put all of these curses on your enemies who hate and persecute you. Again, let me read it. Yahuwah, your Eluah, will put all these curses on your enemies who hate and persecute you. He said it's called the reversal of the curse. All the things that they have done to you, how they have despised you, how they have despised your children, how they have manipulated you and slaughtered you and cared nothing about you from the time that you entered into this world until you take your last breath, it's coming back to them. Why do we have so many mass pew-pewings, deletions, whatever you want to call it, in America? Because it's the reversal of the curse. Why is it happening in schools? 23 in just this year alone. K through 12, babies getting wiped out. Why? Because you didn't care anything about our babies. You didn't care nothing about our babies. In fact, you told your babies that our babies and our people, that you need to stay away from them, having that talk, the talk. They're violent. Don't go to that part of town. Oh, y'all don't believe me, huh? Okay. Take a look at this. White deletions exceed births in a majority of U.S. states. Oh, you try to destroy our babies? Ah, okay. In 2016, more non-Hispanic whites, forget it, more non-Hispanic whites died than were born in 26 states. More than at any time in U.S. history. Starting in 2016, y'all. Around what time was 2016? What time was it for many of us in 2016? What happened to a lot of us then? Do y'all remember? Let me see if one of y'all can get it. 2016. What started happening to Black people everywhere? Didn't matter if we knew each other or not. Something shifted in 2016 for a lot of us. At the same time. Ah, there we go. There we go. Awakening. Wake up. Waking up. We started waking up. Yes. And in 2016, while we were waking up, they were sleeping forever. In 2016, more than any time in U.S. history, some 179 million residents, or roughly 56% of the U.S. population, lived in these 26 states. In contrast, non-Hispanic white, hereafter referred to as white, deletions exceeded births in just 4 states in 2004 and 17 as recently as 2014. White deletions also exceeded white births in the nation as a whole for the first time in U.S. history in 2016, according to data from the National Center for Health Statistics. When births failed to keep pace with deletions, a region is said to have a natural decrease in population, which can only be offset by migration gains. Y'all wonder why he brought them South Afrikaners over here. In 17 of the 26 states with white natural decreases, the white population diminished overall between 2015 and 2016. Our analysis of the demographic factors that cause white natural decrease suggests that more states are likely to experience it in the future. That means it's implications for the nation's demographic future. Y'all, this is why they're wilding out. This is why they are unhinged. This is why they losing their minds, because they're saying, y'all, our numbers are going down. Our numbers are just falling. That's why they overturned Roe v. Wade. You think it's because they cared about everybody's babies? No, it's because they wanted to make sure that they can continue on for their babies. That's what they wanted. It wasn't about caring for real, except for themselves. White population declines for first time in U.S. history, new census expected to say. Not counting the historic undercount of indigenous and Black Americans, experts predict that the 2020 census will show a decline in the white population for the first time in history. For the first time, the portion of white people could dip below 60%, and the under 18 population is likely to be majority non-white, reported the Washington Post, hitting benchmarks previously expected to take nearly another decade. They wasn't even anticipating this for at least another decade. 20 years ago, if you told me this was going to be the case, they wouldn't have believed you. William Frey, a demographer at the Brookings Institution, told the Post, the country is changing dramatically. You hear that? Dramatically. That's what they're scared of. As they say, the chickens have come home to roost. And that's what's happening. I'm telling you, it's judgment. It's a reversal of the curse because of what they have done and what they continue to do. And it's like, how don't you learn your lesson yet? Why don't you learn your lesson and change the way that you are? Repent. Change your behavior. Why do you have to continue to be this way? Because everybody else's nations are growing. This right here, this is a chart of birth rates in the country in 2025. You see who has the highest birth rates? 44.5, Nigeria. Central African Republic has 42.3, Chad 42.1, Somalia 42.1, DR Congo 41. With all of the persecution they're going over to Congo, 41.4, Mali 40.5, Angola 37.1, Nigeria again on the list 35.9, Benin 35, Tanzania, Uganda, Burkina Faso's on there 34. They're in between the 30s, the 30s and the 40s. All these African nations. Let's get down way down to the bottom. Way down to the bottom. 4.63, Taiwan. Vatican City, 5.43. Hong Kong. No, I'm sorry, Taiwan. They didn't even show Taiwan. Vatican City is the lowest, 4.63. Hong Kong, 5.43. South Korea, 5.62. Ukraine, 5.7. Japan, Italy, Andorra, Singapore. All of these places are European places, and their birth rates are super duper low. 5 and 6. We're going from 40 to 30 to 5 and 6 in Greece and Spain and China. In the BVI, the British Virgin Islands is on here. 7%. Puerto Rico, 8%. Yeah, y'all know it's a lot of white folk in the islands now. It's a lot. Believe it or not. I want to see where the U.S. is on this list. United Kingdom is at 10. Even the USVI, it's a decrease. We have a very multicultural community here now. Wasn't always that way. But they got some wrong thinking here too. Don't get me wrong now. It's not just them folk. Abortion is a serious thing. It's impacting. This is why he's saying we got to repent. Because he'll multiply us. 18% in Israel. I still haven't come across the U.S. yet. I know they ain't up here. I must have missed them. Because I'm back up here at the top now. I must have missed the U.S. They're on here somewhere. Probably somewhere near the bottom. But the birth rate, primarily in European countries. I passed it. I passed it. Primarily in European countries has gone down. This is the judgment. This is the judgment. So we're going to read a little bit out of Zechariah 10 and 12, and then we're going to close up. So I can reiterate my point about the judgment. He says he's angry with the shepherds of Judah. He's angry with them, and he's going to punish the leaders because of what they've done to Judah. They won't tell Judah about her sin. But he is eventually going to deal with them. He says, I will strengthen Judah and save the tribes of Joseph. I will restore them because I have compassion on them. They will be as though I had not rejected them, for I am Yahuwah their Eluah, and I will answer them. Go back up there. The Ephraimites will become like warriors, and their hearts will be glad as with wine. Their children will see it and be joyful. Their hearts will rejoice in Yahuwah. I will signal for them and gather them in. Surely I'll redeem them. They will be as numerous as before. Though I scatter them among the peoples, yet in distant lands, they will remember me. Let me read that again. Though I scatter them among the peoples, yet in distant lands, they will remember me. And that was what's happening. That's what we call the Great Awakening. We are remembering. Though he scattered us, now we're remembering. They and their children will survive, and they will return. I will bring them back from Egypt and gather them from Assyria and bring them to Gilead and Lebanon, and there will be no room enough for them. They will pass through the sea of trouble, and surging sea will be subdued, and all the depths of the Nile will dry up. Assyria's pride will be brought down, and Egypt's scepter will pass away. I will strengthen them in Yahuwah, and in his name they will live securely, declares Yahuwah. All praises to the Most High, that we're going to live securely. Not these other nations, though. Let's see what he says about them. Zechariah 12. We're going to wrap it up. Jerusalem's enemies will be destroyed. On that day, I'll make the clans of Judah like a fire pot and wood pile, like a flaming torch among sheaves. They will consume all the surrounding peoples right and left, but Jerusalem will remain intact and in her place. Yahuwah will save the dwelling of Judah first, so that the honor of the house of David and of Jerusalem's inhabitants may not be greater than that of Judah. On that day, Yahuwah will shield those who live in Jerusalem, so that the feeblest among them will be like David, and the house of David will be like Yahuwah or Alua, like the angel of Yahuwah going before them. On that day, I will set out to destroy all the nations that attack Jerusalem. You hear that? We're going to turn our hearts back to him. We're going to look upon the one that we pierced with sorrow, because he is going to deal with these nations. He's going to make Jerusalem an immovable rock for all the nations. All who try to move it are going to injure themselves. He said he's going to strike all of their horses with panic and the riders with madness. It's retribution time. It's retribution time. So when we see all of these things happening in America with the pew-pewing, when we see the birth decline, when we see the madness that is coming upon these people, when we see the calamities that are going on, even though people say, oh, well, that's DARPA. Let me tell you something. I don't care what these governmental agencies are doing. The Most High is allowing it. I told you, I see when he's talking about how there'll be earthquakes in perilous places and diverse places will be all of these things. He's allowing it to happen to hasten the judgment that is coming upon these nations for what they have done to his people. And I know y'all, I know that we're still caught up in these nations and we're feeling the impact still. Yeah, we're feeling it when they're tripping and acting like we're the one who did something to Charlie Kirk. We didn't do nothing to Charlie Kirk. I know we're feeling it, but we got to hold on. You know, because a lot of times you're going to hear them talk about how America is a Christian nation. You know, but the reality is that people are conflating that with the idea that America is a righteous nation, which we know it's not. I mean, we're literally seeing the signs all around us. I was even reading an email tonight that I got from the Prophecy Club, and the Prophecy Club said that America is under judgment because it will not repent. And they were talking about how these are white evangelicals talking about how America will not repent, and there will be nuclear destruction, and that it's going to be overtaken by immigrants, and eventually it's going to be uninhabitable. But when these people hollering about how Christian they are, they're really in a cult, many of them. But I think my brother, Prophet Kwame, he said it best when he used the 10 commandments to show America's true heart concerning Yah's laws. So Yah's laws say, 1, no other gods before me. But they worship whiteness, capitalism, and greed. 2, no idols. They build monuments to slaveholders and traitors, promote false images of Christ. 3, don't take Alua's name in vain. They invoke Jesus while running slave ships and lynch mobs. 4, keep the Sabbath day. They lynched black bodies on Saturday night, then went to church on Sunday morning. 5, honor your father and mother. They take children from their parents on the auction block. Verse 6, not 6, verse 6, commandment 6, don't delete. Genocide of natives, deletion of Africans, mass deletions of black people, Millions deleted in wars abroad for oil. Commandment 7, don't commit adultery. They're promoting immorality in media and in society. 8, don't steal. White people stole land and killed the original people. Commandment 9, don't bear false witness. They wrote lies in the textbooks, preached lies in the pulpit, and swore lies in the courts. And Commandment 10, don't covet. They coveted everything that wasn't white, from land to power to people. My goodness. Absolutely. Trump is one of their idols. This is what they do. They've broken every command. Every command. And yes, sis, there's no fault found in Judah for them to find with everything they try to put on us, but they still call themselves guiltless and us guilty. And this is part of why it is, a huge part of why it is, why they're going through what they're going through now. So what we have to do is be strong. We have to be courageous. We have to know that Yahuwah is with us, that he is protecting us. Remember, the Bible is not a book of fantasy. It is a reality. It is both a historical and a book dealing with future events. It is a scientific book. It is a book of wisdom. It is so much. And it is the book that Yahuwah has put together for us by the mouth of the prophets, the law and the prophets, so that we might learn to trust him in all of our circumstances. We have to trust him, because let me tell you something that blows my mind so much when I see everything that is happening, y'all. We're not lifting one finger. We're not lifting one finger. We have no military. We're not doing nothing to protect ourselves. We can't protect ourselves. So you know that everything that is happening is because our Adonai, our Alua, he is the one that is taking care of us. Yahuwah Sabaoth. Yahuwah Sabaoth. Look up, for your redemption draws nigh. Yah has you. Look to the hills from which comes your help. Hallelujah. That's what we have to do. It's not that we're cowards. Y'all know we ain't cowards. It's not that we can't come together and strategize. Y'all know we can strategize if we need to. Yahuwah is intentionally allowing us to have our hands tied so that he can show his wonders. Isn't that what he told Moses? Now you got a Moses company out here. He has a Moses company out here, y'all. Raising up for the last days, as he said he would. Men and women prophesying, dreaming dreams that are waking Yah's people up all over the world. I'm telling y'all, this awakening cannot be stopped because he declared it. We did not ask him to wake us up. We didn't know that we needed to be awakened to that degree. We were just walking around like, why are we always going through, man? We always going through. We can't get no good job. We always getting treated bad. I go to school, they telling me my history begins in slave chains. All these microaggressions and the macro ones, police brutality, all of this stuff happening. We don't know why it's happening. Most High say, let me let you in on a little secret. As my daddy used to say, come here, let me let you in on a little secret. What's that secret? We are his. We are the apple of his eyes. Now you have to understand, to a people who has always been told that they're nothing, that's hard to believe. That's hard to believe. I mean, to this day, our people don't want to see greatness on us. They don't want to see that. We just called each other king and queen. I tell you, I hear it all the time. What up, queen? What up, king? We call each other that and don't even realize that we are from the royal house of Judah. We live in, like paupers, calling ourselves kings and queens. Because that's our real position. That's our real place where we're supposed to be standing. And Yahuwah is allowing all of these things to happen every day, all around us, to convince us that he has not forgotten us, that he will never leave us nor forsake us. He is our Alua. He is Yah with us. And so that's what we need to hold on to when we're seeing this crunch, when we're seeing them deliberately crash the money system. All of this is going down. This house of cards has to go down. Prophecy must be fulfilled. But faint not. Do not grow weary and well doing. I know y'all like, Sister Shada, you've been on like every day. Yes. Because I had to talk to my father. And he had to deal with me about my heart condition. I didn't think I could do it. I'm like, Father, I got so much on my plate. Father's like, but I put a word in your spirit and they need to hear the word. And he used a lot of y'all, as a matter of fact, to just minister to me and let me know that me being here is needed. That he gave me a voice for a reason, to make an impact. And I praise him for it. I praise him for the doors that he's opening up. He continues to open up doors. I got a call tonight. They want me to have a second interview tomorrow, this time in the studio, here locally. I told y'all he's waking up the West Indies. I'm getting opportunities left and right, and I'm grateful because Yahuwah is good like that. But we must be willing servants. We lay it all down. We lay our crowns down at his feet. And I have decided in my heart to follow my Savior, Yahusha. No turning back. No turning back. Though none go with me, I still will follow. No turning back. No turning back. I have decided to follow Yahusha. No turning back. No turning back. Though none go with me, I still will follow. I ain't hitting them high notes tonight, y'all. I'm too tired for all that. But y'all get the point. No turning back. You see, because we cannot operate in fear. What we have to remember is that every one of our days have been counted for. Every one of our days. There is not one day that you're going to live past what Yahuwah has told you. He's already accounted for the number of your days. So we might as well not be afraid to live this life with power, passion, and the purpose of Yahuwah. We might as well just do what we're called to do, like our master, and be busy about our Father's business. We might as well. Just go ahead and just work it out on the inside of you, Because some of y'all be at your job and Yahuwah, the Ruach HaKodesh be knocking on your heart. He be knocking on your heart. You need to go talk to your coworker. This is the time right now. Go talk to him. And you be like, I don't know. I don't know. I can get in trouble. They could say I'm proselytizing. I need this job. And you reason within yourself about whether or not you're supposed to obey him at that moment. Let me tell y'all something. I'm a fool all day long for the Most High. I'm a fool all day long for him. I was weeping to my mama the other day over it. I look back in my life and I'm like, I did not choose this direction for myself. But I don't regret it. I don't regret it. Beautiful are the feet of those who share the good news. This is good news that our people need to hear. And if anybody that he has commanded you to speak to, and you don't want to speak to them, but you do it anyway, if they reject the message, you've done what you were supposed to do. You cried out and you spared not, because that's what we're called to do in this day and hour. You told the truth for what it was. Don't worry about if you look crazy to people. Don't worry about if people call you a religious nut. Don't worry about none of that. Why do you care? Why would you be concerned with what people think about you more than you concerned with what your Father in heaven thinks about you? I think about that all the time. I'm like, why am I concerned? They ain't got a heaven or hell to put me in. Why would I be concerned with what people think of me? We all feel that pull to be concerned. But if we live before man righteously, then we're doing what we're supposed to do. So don't worry about what people think. Yah is in control. He's showing us every day. I know it looks chaotic on the news, but I'm telling you, he is not confused. He knows exactly what he's doing. So I'm going to wrap it up. I want to thank y'all so much for just being here, for listening. I know this one was a little bit longer. I will be back on Sunday, Yahuwah willing. Like I told you, he's giving me increase in my schedule, and I'm thankful for it. I am. I bless Yah for the open doors, and that he's allowed me to be in a place, in a space where I have the ability to speak and share good news. So I want to thank those of you who have given tonight. I'm going to start with those of you who have given via Cash App. So I want to thank Emma Horton. Thank you so much for your gift. I really appreciate you. That means a lot to me. They say the worker is worthy of his wages. And trust me, y'all, I appreciate when y'all bless, because it is a lot of work. It's a lot that goes into preparing messages. So I really appreciate when y'all take the time to support. I want to also thank Cynthia Griffin. Thank you so much for your gift as well. I appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you for being there and showing your support as well. I want to give a shout out to my brother, Calvin Andrus. Brother, I've been thinking about you for a while, been asking about you. I want to thank you so much for gifting 5 Ashada at Large memberships to the Mishpachah. For those of you who received the membership, I hope y'all giving a shout out to Brother Calvin. Thank you so much, and I pray that you're doing well. Please give us a update on how things have been going in your life. Again, thank y'all so much for your love and your support. Thank you for being here. And it encourages me. I really appreciate it. Continue to get those likes up so we can continue to get messages like this to as many people as possible. Like, share, and subscribe. Well, family, I'm going to go ahead and close out now. But, you know, as I always say, love yourselves without hating your enemies. And until next time, Yah bless and Salamah.